Hello everyone and welcome to Noodle Journey, your destination for detailed and informative reviews of the instant noodle universe. Today we're entering the Hall of Shame as I highlight the 5 worst instant noodle products I've reviewed on this channel so far. This is the Noodle Journey 2024 Bottom 5 list. Before we get started, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content. I have suffered through each of these instant noodle varieties so that you as a consumer know what you shouldn't buy. And your likes, shares, and subscriptions help keep the channel going through the good times and the bad. Now, I just want to say that unless you are morbidly curious and absolutely love the flavors that I'm about to describe in each of these review summaries, you should stay away from these. These are all varieties that 2 years into this channel I have found to be the most bland, boring, and downright offensive that I've ever had. With that in mind, here we go.
In the number 5 spot, we've got my first arch nemesis, Mike, with his Mike's Mighty Good Kraft Ramen Chicken Cup. This is also the same chicken cup ramen that's sold at Trader Joe's, and while the Trader Joe's version is a little cheaper and therefore not quite as egregiously overpriced as the Mike's Cup is, this is just the most boring cup of chicken ramen I've ever had. The broth is bland, the noodles are weird, and the portion size is insulting. All of the insane richness of the broth consistency can't help the fact that this is under-seasoned. All of Mike's products have the same issues with noodles and portion size, but charging over $3 for something this lackluster in every aspect is ridiculous. Next up at number 4, we have Lotus Foods Forbidden Rice White Miso Soup. Are you gluten-free and love the taste of miso? Then stay the hell away from this one. The noodles in here were actually pretty good, but the problem is the broth. It basically tastes like unsalted dirt. Somehow, Lotus Foods screwed up something as simple as mushrooms and miso, and we got this. There is no miso umami flavor to speak of, and whatever mushrooms they powdered up to use in this taste more like the soil they were grown in than anything resembling a mushroom. This could have been a slightly bland but safe recommendation to the gluten-free crowd, but instead it's just awful. Speaking of miso-flavored things that don't taste like miso, in the number 3 spot, we have Snapdragon with their Miso Cup Ramen. It blows my mind when someone on Reddit heaps praise on Snapdragon products, because all I can think is, you actually like this? Are your taste buds okay? Their spicy tonkatsu variety would have been on this list in this spot, if not for the fact that this miso variety is the most flavorless ramen I've ever had. It tastes like ginger water. While I can forgive the mediocre Snapdragon noodles and the uninspired vegetable medley that they put in every single one of their products, the distinct lack of the main flavor that this is supposed to taste like is appalling. Grocery stores have the nerve to charge over $3 for one of these cups, but I wouldn't even buy it again on clearance. In the number 2 position, we have what is probably the biggest disappointment I've come across since the channel started. Ramen Talk's Pepper Crispy Pork Noodles. I love Ramen Talk's other products. I gave them all perfect and near-perfect scores, and I even put their braised beef flavor on my top 10 list. But this one, something went horribly wrong with this when it hit my taste buds. I will say that the noodles in this are incredible, probably the best ones out of all of Ramen Talk's varieties, but it was the sauce and the toppings that were all wrong for me. This came with a pair of sauce packets that I thought clashed terribly with each other. One of them being some kind of a spicy barbecue-adjacent sauce that felt vaguely Tex-Mex in style, and the other was some kind of Sichuan peppercorn sesame sauce. Either one on its own would have been fine, but the second they were combined, it's like the flavors were competing for attention, and not in a good way. Then there was this pack of pickled vegetables that, again, was fine on its own, but further clashed with the sauce flavors when I put it all together. And then to top it all off, the crispy pork bits were hard as a rock. There's another ramen reviewer on YouTube who really liked this one, but I found it completely inedible once it was all put together. I hated throwing this one in the trash, but that's where it went. Don't let this dissuade you from trying Ramen Talk's other products, but I just couldn't get behind this one. And finally, in the number 1 spot, we have Trader Joe's Garlic Sauce Thai Noodles. If you've never watched my channel before, you should know that I love garlic. I've even eaten minced raw garlic gyro style on my ramen without batting an eyelid in the past. So believe me when I say that the rancid, putrid, chemical stench of garlic that came out of this Trader Joe's noodle bowl is quite possibly the worst thing I have ever smelled and eaten. It stunk up my house for hours. Imagine opening up one of those pre-processed jars of chopped garlic that you buy in the grocery store and smelling nothing but chemical preservatives. That's what this was like. Not even the halfway decent noodles could save this. It was absolutely abysmal. While you may be forgiven for being curious and trying any of my other bottom 5 picks, trust me when I say stay away from this one for your own good.
All right, that's it for the 2024 bottom 5 list. Who knows what the next year or two will bring? Maybe someday this will expand to a bottom 10 list if I can find enough to complain about. Do you agree with these choices? Have you tried any of these yourself? What's your own personal worst instant noodle you've ever had? Leave me some comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this list, remember that I publish reviews every week and I don't hold back on my opinions. I hope you'll subscribe and check out my other reviews, and I hope that you'll join me here again on Noodle Journey.